Hey everyone, welcome to Mountain Beast Mysteries. Last night I was out filming the sky, watching the sky, trying to get footage of UFOs, and sure enough, something weird happened. And this is the first, I would say, substantial sighting since May 6th, 2023. If you watch my documentary, The Beings from Beyond, in the later half of the film, the last segment, there's a light that shows up that shifts colors a lot, and it's zipping around the sky and stopping, and it does these really crazy maneuvers. That was the last major thing that I ever saw. There was a time, it was early October last year. I want to say it was the 6th or 7th of October, where something, I saw something in the sky, but it wasn't very definitive, so I just kind of forgot about it. And I don't really count that, but what I saw last night is definitely the weirdest thing I have seen since being in Edmonton, downtown Edmonton, filming all those UFO things. The thing I saw was the exact same blue orb that would fly directly over top my apartment, and there'd be a tandem light way further off that would be flying at the same speed. They'd be flying together, essentially. And the thing I filmed last night was the exact same thing. It appears to be anyways. When I first noticed it, that's what came to mind. I'm like, oh my god, this is the exact same thing I saw over a year ago. In a completely different area. So whatever this thing is, if it is that exact thing, which it seems to be, it has the ability to find me. And that's the weird thing. Yesterday during the day, I was filming multiple talking segments I was trying to make a video to upload that evening, but I never got it done. But I did record some stuff during the day, just segments of me talking and whatnot, and then later I went out down to the flat part by the water to film, and nothing really happened when I was down there, so I came back up to where the camp area is here, and I was just chilling because I had a chair set up. I had the tripod set up here as well. When I came back up, I had everything set up. And I was just kind of hanging out. I had one of those mosquito coils going that never works. And I did get a couple little bits of footage of these lights that appear... They look like satellites, essentially, but they're always objects that I like to track, just in case something weird happens around them. There's that one piece of footage I got where that one light is flying and I'm tracking it, and then another light shows up and it zips towards it and then shoots off. It's every time you would track those lights, you wouldn't know if something like that would happen. So it was a good habit to get into, to film every light that was moving, even if it was a satellite. So yesterday I was filming a segment of me talking where I was mentioning those lights, because the night before I had filmed something that could have been a satellite and maybe not. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play a little bit of stuff I filmed yesterday, and then it'll go into the night part where I'm down by the river filming, and then it'll go into the actual UFO footage. But then after that I'll jump back on here and I'll talk a little bit about the experience, and I'll kind of walk you through what was going on, what I was doing, and what you see in the footage exactly. So I guess we'll check in with you in a few minutes here. Hey everyone, welcome to Mountain Beast Mysteries. I'm here by the river again, and last night I was down here in this flat part trying to get footage of strange anomalies in the sky. I was looking for UFOs, and I did get a piece of footage that is kind of interesting, and it reminds me of the lights that I would track when I was in the city filming all the stuff for my documentary, The Beings from Beyond. I would track these lights that at first glance look like satellites, and many people would say they're probably satellites, but I would track them, and then weird stuff would always happen around them. For example, that one piece of footage where I'm tracking the light, and then another light comes from the top left, makes its way down kind of to the center of the frame, and then back up to the object I'm tracking, the light I'm tracking, and then it checks it out, and then it zips off. It's probably my best piece of footage. But I saw something last night that kind of reminded me of that light I was tracking. It was moving really fast. It was quite bright. It seemed lower in altitude than a satellite, to be honest. That could just be me getting excited, but it really did remind me of one of those lights, so I'm hoping later tonight when I go out, I get something like that again. Not really much going on, it's just moving through the sky silently. It was silent. The night vision camera I have, it doesn't record audio, so you can't hear anything anyways, but it wasn't making any noise, and it was trucking along at a pretty good speed. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting down here again tonight. It's getting late, it's like past 9, the sun's going down. And I like to go down at around midnight, so that seems to be when things start getting really, really dark here. Like between 11 and 12, there's still a tiny little bit of light in the sky. But yeah, I'll check in with you guys a bit later when it's dark. Well, the sun is down. It is dark out. It's 11:45, and it's time to start observing the sky. Let's see what happens. Will it be another night of next to zero activity? Or are we gonna get some crazy stuff? Will it be like last night where we just had one interesting anomaly, which could still be nothing? Or are we gonna get something substantial, something very distinct that is undeniable? I hope we do. So that was the stuff from yesterday, including the UFO footage. So I was down. I initially started down there by the river on that flat area. And that's usually what I've been doing for most of these nights. Sometimes I'll be up here near the camp watching, but there's trees in the way. But I started out down below, and I filmed a few things, a few lights in the sky that were very similar to that one video clip I shot the night before that you just saw, of just that one smaller light that kind of looks like a satellite. So I had filmed a bunch of lights like that, and after a while of that, I just came back up top, and I'll show you here. I have like the tripod up here. I had set the tripod up. You can see the night vision on it. And then there's a little like packable camp chair. And I was just kind of chilling there watching the sky. But up top, there is lots of trees. Anyways, oh, I forgot to mention that the timestamp on the footage, it's an hour behind on the footage because of like these cameras, they don't adjust to daylight savings time and whatnot. So it was an hour off. It displays as like 11:30 when it happened, and it was more like 12:30. So that is one thing that is my fault. But I saw the light like back in the trees. It was like somewhere over there. Got up and like this tripod, you can unscrew this thing here and this comes out as like a monopod. So I popped it out and I was kind of hand holding it. That's why it's shaky. And so I tracked the light going over, and then it disappears behind like a bunch of trees. You can see it starts flickering. That's because it's behind the branches. So I'm like, oh crap, I gotta get to a better position. So I wanted to run down to the flat part closer to the river, but I'm running, and you can see this in the footage, like there's a bunch of fumbling around. I had to get over this down tree in the dark, and then there's like a bunch of roots and stuff, and this downhill, this slope. So I'm like stumbling over this log, these roots and whatnot, and I almost fell going down this sandy slope. And I quickly turned on my headlamp for a few seconds just to see where I was headed, and then I shut it off, and then I reposition the camera and I start filming again until it goes all the way over the horizon there. So that's essentially what happened. It kind of reminds me, the footage reminds me of the Patterson footage where they start filming Patty, the Sasquatch, and then there's a bit where they're like running towards her and the camera's all shaky, and then they frame her up again and continue filming. That's what it kind of reminds me of. But that's essentially what happened. Now, like that light is super bright, like brighter than any satellite, you know, and it seemed really low, and it has like a blue kind of aura around it. It reminds me exactly of that thing that I would film in Edmonton in my documentary, that blue light that would fly directly over the building. It did it multiple times on multiple different nights, and there was always a second smaller light way further out, but it was moving at the exact same speed in the exact same direction, like they were connected somehow, but they weren't. Like they were connected, but through a vast distance of some sort of invisible force. This camera doesn't record sound, so there's no sound in that audio clip, but this thing was dead silent. If you look in this direction, this is like, I don't know, west. This camera, I focused it past those hills in the distance, like on the horizon. I focus it way out past there till it's out of focus, and then I bring the focus back just so that those hills in the distance were in focus. So essentially everything from those hills onward is in focus, or should be in focus. So that's how the camera was set when this happened. So that light is either really, really bright and big, and at a distance that's past those hills, which isn't that far away, or it's out of focus and really, really close, meaning it would be at an altitude that is like less than the distance from me and those hills, which isn't that far away, just on the other side of the river there. So yeah, I think it's legit. I think it's genuine, and I think it is the exact same thing that I saw over a year ago, meaning they're able to track me and like locate me somehow, or I'm just going crazy. So like I'm super curious to see what happens tonight. It's gonna be interesting because yesterday all day when I was like filming little talking segments, like I'm making this stuff, I'm filming this stuff with the intention of nothing really happening. Like I'm not predicting things actually happening, so I'll like film bits of me talking about random things and mysterious stuff. And then once something happens, like last night, it like totally throws the video you're planning off track. So this video right now that I'm making is kind of all over the place, but I'm trying to give a good idea of what happened. Today's the 13th of July. Yesterday was the 12th. I'm uploading this stuff from the field. Like, I'm editing all these videos on my phone using an app called InShot. And I'm kind of doing it on the fly. That's why the editing is kind of rudimentary. And I haven't actually had a chance to look at the footage on a big screen. I've been looking at it all through my phone. I can connect to this camera directly to my phone, and I can transfer files to it. So that's how I've been doing that. But yeah, very interesting. Wasn't expecting that. We'll see what happens tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Mountain Beast Mysteries.